pop the hood. I would call this almost a barn find.
A barn find.
I see a lot of these. Been seen 6 or 8 years.
What year is it?
70,000 miles. 82.
1982.
November of 82. USA that came single roller chain. Nowadays, most 81s and 82s have been converted to a double roller chain. But this is a time capsule. It's very clean. Dash is not cracked. The leather's not cracked. Paint's good. But I told the customer, I won't work on this car with a single roller chain because I'm terrified. They were notorious for jumping time, bending valves.
Okay.
Just on startup.
Okay.
Worse if you're in passing gear getting on the interstate, and then of course it craters the motor. But it's a shame this car is in this kind of condition and it has that motor.
What's gonna be your suggestion?
Well, financially there's not a way to win here because the motor would have to come out because it has a solid oil pan. The SLs all did in USA. To pull the front cover off, well, now you got the compressor off, the water pump, everything else on the front of the motor, so you're going to want to go back with new parts because these are so old. What's the motor mount, the training mount going to look like? You know, do you send the radiator out while you got everything disconnected and have it gone through? They used to rod those radiators. This is a copper radiator. But you know, the cost with labor today, and I'm sure the parts are available, but you know, it could easily exceed $10,000. And then you know, you got more money in the repair to get it to run than you can sell the car for. It almost would have to have sentimental value to, which some of the cars come in here, that's the case. And sky's the limit. But on top of this problem, all the other cars that come in here, again, just sat for who knows how long, there's varnish or rust or both in the fuel tank, fuel pumps froze up. You got to do all that stuff at the back of the car before you ever get up here and to find out that the fuel distributor is bad. Warm-up regulator, which is kind of like a choke on a carburetor. They leak vacuum and they don't work. You get, now you got all that to deal with, and you're...
So changing just the chain with the new one, or chain and sprocket, not gonna make it good enough to be driven as a weekend car?
Well, you would just have that item out of the way. This car still will have fuel problems that will have to be dealt with.
True, but the main thing or main reason to pull the whole engine out is to do the timing. If we do it just like a basic, just replace it, just a timing belt, let's say, not gonna make it good enough for another.
In my opinion, no, I wouldn't.
Wow.
And that's what I tell the customers. I won't start this car. I'm terrified of these single roller chains jumping time. And I've seen many do it. Many upset customers. Mercedes introduced that, trying to cut weight down to save fuel back in the 80s.
Really?
And mid-year, what I remember, mid-year of 83, they started putting the double roller back in them at the factory. But Frank Boland, who had imports back in the 80s.
Can you say that again, Sir Michael? Like they use single roller to improve the fuel economy.
They were cutting weight, trying to save, cut down on weight to save gas.
Wow.
That was the reason they told me.
Even with that small amount of weight or inertia on the chain, does that make a difference back then?
I don't think that there was a measurable amount. I think some engineer had too many dark beers at lunch to come up with this idea. If you look at that very closely, it looks like a bicycle chain. And all the 117, 116 engines from 71 up to now had double roller chains. And the front of the cover still has the room for it. We just pull the cover off, pull all the gears off, and we can put double gears on, make it a double roller chain. In fact, Frank Bolin had Bolin Imports back in the 80s. There was a time there where this was such a problem. Everybody that bought a car that had this engine, and some of the SCs and SELs had this engine with a single roller chain, but he paid out of pocket to bring his customers' cars in, and the whole dealership for 3 to 6 months maybe. That's all we did. We were pulling motors out of cars still under warranty.
It's kind of recall with
It was
his.
not a recall.
No,
This was something he did out of his pocket because it was such a problem.
As a kind of recall, but it's not from Mercedes, from a local dealership.
Right.
Wow.
And we pulled these motors out. Well, some guys could do them in the car, but I did a bunch of them. I was in heavy line, and I found that it was just much smoother just to disconnect everything, pull it out, get it on a table. I could be putting it back together while the other guys are still taking it apart. But again, this is a time capsule. I don't know if there's value to have something like this because it's rare for me to see a single roller chain car anymore.
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael with Silver Star. Appreciate your time.
You bet.